What's going on, guys? Scar coming at you with another Magic the Gathering video. Today's video diving into an Orzhov Lifegain deck that is budget friendly. I did go over in a previous video in my budget friendly list that I came up with some 5 other ideas for budget friendly. So there'll probably be a link for that video in this video somewhere, one of those cards that you see above as I discuss this deck. Pretty much what the goal of the deck is to gain a bunch of life, to trigger multiple abilities of certain cards we play in the deck, and just trying to gain a bunch of life and attack our opponent in the face. The deck is fairly budget friendly, as I don't think there's a single rare in the deck, as you can always add more rares into the deck as you want to progress the deck further. But this is just a very common and uncommon base deck. It involves cards from all different sets of standard MPG arena. Everything is standard legal. The one they will note is the Hollow Priest that's in the deck is only legal in best of 1. So if you do want to play him in best of 3, you're gonna have to figure out a different strategy there. You may have to drop it and put something else in. I think there is a rogue or something from Zendikar Ryzen, I think, that kind of has a life gain ability to it. Whenever you gain life, get a +1/+1 counter. It just costs more, and I think it's a little bit more expensive as a whole. With that being said, the goal of the deck is pretty straightforward. What we're trying to do here in the deck as a whole, we have Alcée's Life Bounty, and we also have Archfiend's Vessel, both 1-drops, both good in their own way. Alcée, gives us protection to protect anything we don't want dead, and Archfiend's Vessel is something we can return later in the game to get our 5/5 flyer. Bloodchief's Thirst is like the new current meta removal card with the ability to remove something that's 2 or less for cheap, or in the later game you kicker it for the additional 3 mana to destroy pretty much any creature or planeswalker. Griffin Airy is another creature producer for the deck. As long as we gain 3 or more life in one of our turns, it gets a 2/2 white Griffin token creature on the battlefield. Hallowed Priest is our card that we can pump up every time we gain a point of life. We're getting a +1/+1 counter on him. Skyfleet Cleric is a new card for Zendikar Ryzen, allows us to gain 2 life when it comes to the battlefield, or if we just need the white mana, we can always play it into play as the land for the 1 white mana. Daxos is another way to gain some life every time a creature comes in the battlefield, as well as it becomes a pretty good chump blocker because his toughness will get larger the more white mana creatures we do play on the battlefield. So himself on the battlefield by himself is a 2/2 already, but combine that with all the other devotion we have to white, this thing can become a 2/8, 2/9, 2/10 pretty easily. Call the Death Dweller to get back any of your cheaper low drops, get it back like Alcée's, get it back like Hallowed Priests, Daxos, whatever we need, putting Death Touch counters and or menace counters on them. Also, it's another way to get our Archfiend Vessel to get that 5/5. Indulgent Patricians, one of our flyers with lifelink, is another way to also essentially make our opponent start taking big chunks of damage at a time. Whenever we gain 3 or more life in a turn, our opponent's not going to lose 3 life. Face Feathers is kind of like our spot removal card outside of Bloodchief's thing, because it will let us gain 4 life, making our Enchanted Permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So essentially, the Face Feathers and Bloodchief's Thirst is kind of like our board removal, spot removal kind of stuff. And then of course we got 20 lands in 8 and 4 of the Scoured Barrens, as well as the Skycleave Clerics, which counts as additional white sources in the deck. Overall, the deck is pretty straightforward on what it's trying to do. Like I said, we're just trying to gain some life. Hopefully we don't get thrown up against too many decks as we play the deck in the current meta. With that being said, guys, before we dive into the gameplay, if you guys want to skip ahead, you can skip ahead, but I just want to kind of briefly say a few things before we dive into it. So we are approaching the middle of October. I am thinking of a few things for the channel as a whole. The one thing I will say, this, as much as I love making budget friendly decks for you guys, I am going to start splicing in some other style decks as well, of all sorts of variations. Maybe play some meta decks to get you guys seeing my own perspective of meta decks, kind of breaking down exactly how I think the meta decks play. Granted, I know I'm not the top tier player when it comes to playing decks in general, as I do make misplays just like everybody else, as I do this for a hobby, but I am going to be splicing in more meta style decks and other decks that I do find interesting in general as a whole. With that being said, guys, if you have any deck suggestions that you kind of want to see in the channel, let me know in the comments below. With that being said, let's dive into some gameplay. All right, we're on the play first. We do have a tap land, which I think I'm going to keep because we do have 3 mana. And overall, the hand looks pretty decent on what we're trying to do here, so we'll keep. We'll play this for the land. We'll play tapped. I guess they're trying to see what we're playing because they did hover over our card. All right, interesting. Yeah, why not? We'll play Hollow Priest and say go. I could have also played like Bounty, so on and so forth, but we'll do it this way. If they want to remove it, it's fine. They are playing some sort of control deck, maybe? Golgari control? Not 100% sure, just based on what they have here. So it is interesting in that sense. They're gonna hold priority every single time we do something, just because they do have the book. So it is gonna be annoying. They're just gonna click everything until they figure out what they want to do. I mean, I can just be as annoying, but I don't like to hover over cards. I mean, the one thing I will say this, it's not like they haven't seen the cards before, so it's like sometimes you wonder if it's if they're more of like, what are we doing here? We could use a land here though, which is kind of interesting. I guess they're being very, very thoughtful of what they're trying to do here. That's fine. All right, land? No. We'll get rid of that. And we'll shoot him down, swing in for some damage. We didn't draw a land, which is unfortunate, but you know, it's still okay. We will gain some life, put a counter on that bad boy, and we'll say go. They'll probably scry again. Which is not the worst. I can use the land next turn, because if they do play a 4-drop or something, it's a little tough for us to kind of remove. Visionary is fine. It looks like they're maybe playing like a Golgari deck, like I said. All right, that's not what we need, unfortunately. How do I want to do this though? We'll just swing in for 2. If they decide to block, we can just chump. If they remove, I mean, Heartless Act is, you know, it's a card. But unfortunately, it just removes the +1/+1 counters, so there's that. They're gonna gain some life. We did get rid of their mana producer. I don't know if they just threw it out there as a chump blocker. I don't really know. If they have their own Blood Tree's Thirst, they could play that. All right, so we need a land here. A land would be really great. That is not a land, unfortunately, for us. It's very awkward here, isn't it? I could play Call of the Death Dweller to then get back the All Seed, which then I guess they don't want to attack then. Blood Chasers, like I said, doesn't do anything here without an additional land. Hallowed Priest doesn't really do anything here other than mean a 1/1. Yeah, why not? We'll get it back. It's not ideal, but no attacks. So go. Missing land drops is really terrible for us. I'm very surprised they're not scrying here. I guess they were gonna save it for a time when they really want to dig into something. Interesting. Why'd they kick it? It's only a 1-drop. I think that's an oops if I was them. You realize, I don't think they realize what that it's not, I don't know, unless I read something wrong here. We are outmatched in like power overall, to be quite honest. No blocks, I'll take 6. So that is a thing. Archfiend's Vessel. You just do that for its normal cost. Our opponent's really just looking at everything here. I'll be quite honest. I mean, I probably didn't have to do it there. I could have always just... It's fine. I may just get out of here just for the basis of that we're pretty much outmatched right now with just power of cards, just because I don't have anything to remove that. A Faith's Feathers is probably the best thing I got. But unfortunately that's not going to be enough. They really love to just do everything, don't they? Yeah, we're just gonna get out of here because I am not drawing a land. Our opponent's going first. Our mana overall is better. We do have Daxos here, which is a good way to gain some life, which helps the patrician. All Seeds Life Bounty is very good. So hopefully we draw into some better stuff. All right, they're also playing Life Gain, it looks like, which is unfortunate for us. Yeah, we'll do this. Now the question is, are they playing just mono white straight up, or are they playing like... It looks like they're playing mono white. Yeah, double speaker. Alright, so they're gonna try to gain a bunch of life is what it looks like. So in this situation, I think we Daxos. Put a 2/2 guy in front of them. That's fine. The question is, do they really want to risk gaining life? I mean, they're gonna get 2 counters here. We'll block one and then we can Blood Chief the other one, so it's not a big deal. So yeah, so this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna Hollow Priest for some extra life gainage, and then we'll Blood Chief this, so that's dead, and then we swing in for 2. That's fine. That's fine. Swing in for 4. I can chump that with that. I do not have any protection open at the moment. They could get Heliod out since they already have 2 devotion. You don't want to attack with your... Yeah. Okay, or do you do? Please? If I chump here, if I take this out, right? We gain 2 life, get this bigger. Which I think is not terrible. What does that do for me? No blocks, we'll take it. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Sucks when I don't draw anything to really take advantage. I can gain X amount of life this turn if I decide to sacrifice. I could sacrifice this, gain in a point of damage. Nah, it's fine. We'll save that. Maybe if they decide to do something crazy here. That's fine. They can't gain life now. That's positive. They can gain like life from it, but it's not crazy. Okay, so they're gonna create an army to gain a bunch of life. Interesting. I don't know why they put it on the Daxos. They could have just made their guy bigger. That's why. All right, so essentially we just need to shut down their Linden. I'm not sure why they did that, because I could just block like this and like this. I'll take 10, I'm at 4. It's fine, nothing has lifelink. I mean, I could throw, no, it's fine. Next turn's the turn, trust me. All right, I mean, I could get aggressive here. Let's see. I mean, you swing all in, right? You swing, swing. Yeah, we'll do it that way. We'll sacrifice this, give it this protection from white. We will then play Call the Death Dweller, getting back all seeds, getting something with Death Touch, getting some life, making our opponent lose 6 life. So now if they want to swing in, they're gonna have to take Death Touch, which is something they probably don't want to do. Hollow Priest for them, that's fine. It's a little late to the party. See, I feel like they should have done that earlier. Doesn't have an indestructible though. I feel like they spread out the damage in the wrong way. They probably should have put some damage there. So we'll block here. And we'll block here. Taking 8, but gaining 1. They lose Heliod. And we got a whole bunch of things happening. So we'll play this. We'll play Alseed. We're at 2. No attacks. End turn. We'll leave open stuff. If they swing in, we're gonna gain life. They can make their things gain life, or have lifelink to give things counters. That's fine. Still fine. Not sure why they blocked with the 1/1s. I could block the Daxos, block here. Minus. Sacrifice this. Block. Sacrifice here. Given this protection from white. So they don't gain the life there. We gain 2 life. They lose X amount of life. They gain X amount of life. That's fine. We gain X amount of counters. I'm not really worried, to be quite honest, because their thing is bigger, but it's not much bigger. Well, that does. Now this does nothing. They don't have haste, so we're gonna swing in for big damage, making this bigger. Make our opponent lose a bunch of life, gain into 2/2. So in case they have some sort of haste, we have a 2/2 flyer blocker. All right, another land. It's looking good on our end right now. We turned this around, to be quite honest. We did turn this around. This game did take a while. All right, we're on the play. So this hand is not great. So we're gonna mulligan because there's nothing to do in our hand. This hand's better. We can get rid of. Oh, this is tough. I guess we get rid of Patrician, right? Maybe. All right, you know what? Let's get rid of Griffin. I think we either play the Cleric or the Barons and play tapped. Yeah, I guess we do this. Let me say go. Mono red. All right. Mono red it is. Part of me wants to now just play this, just so I can gain the life back that they did to me. And I have a 1/3 on the board, and I gain 2 life. All right, I mean you can Rimrock Knight. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't draw a land, which kind of sucks. Do they have the follow-up is the question. I'll play this. Let's see what happens. All right, that's fine. The blocks. Still fine. I will take it. No blocks. I'll take 5. Sure. Yay! A land. We gain a life. Make this bigger. They have to now use another burn. It looks like they're stuck at 2 lands as well. All right. We're on the play. I actually like this hand. This hand's pretty solid. It's, you know, it's good for what the deck, for what the budget of the deck is, I guess is the best way to put it. I think I'm gonna actually do this. So I could have. Okay, looks like we're playing mono red again. They have a shock. I'm assuming it's shock. I mean, there's nothing else that holds priority in red that's, you know. Sure. I mean, you just gotta put a, you know, a little wrench in their way. Because they don't want to attack into it. Right now it's a 2-3. Alright, I mean, use all your burn, I guess? Is it really worth all the burn? I guess it is to them. Alright, I'll take 2. Again? Another robber. Okay. Going sideways. I'll take 2. Go on Rimrock Knight, that's fine. It's definitely a tough call. Do I indulge them by playing another one? I think I do. I mean, I would assume that a Bone Crusher Giant's on its way out soon. I mean, at this point, you'd only think. I mean, they do have 4 cards in their hand now. All right, you can Rimrock Knight again. You really want. All right, can't block, which is good for us. I mean, what do I have in my graveyard? I have 3 Daxos. I'll take 3. You gonna play your Bone Crusher now? Please. Aww. You know you want to block. All right, we are back to the deck list. Overall, the games went fairly well. I think it was kind of funny to see some of the mono red players ready to play against pretty much scoop immediately once I started gaining life back, which is always funny. The last game in particular was hilarious when Daxos came back for the 4th time in the game, as well as our Archfiend's Vessel, which then triggered Daxos, which then triggered Lifegain triggers, which then made us have Griffins, which is kind of one of those things is like when that works, it works. It is one of those things, as we did see in the first game, that I do struggle against a deck that is overall just a lot, you know, more prepared, has a lot better cards, I would say, rarity wise, to kind of deal with certain situations. We really didn't have a way to deal with the giant, you know, the giant big creature our opponent played in their green deck, just because we didn't really draw the lands to really make Blood Chief's Thirst that viable to kill it. But overall, the deck is a fun budget style life gain deck that can definitely win some games. It looks like it is fairly competitive, so if you do want to give it a try without spending too much or investing too much into the deck, you definitely can start with this list. In my sideboard, I do have cards that you can always add into the deck. We have the Speaker of the Heavens, which, you know, is one of those staples in most life gain decks. It is rare. It is a 1-mana 1/1 Vigilance Lifelinker. And if we start gaining a bunch of life, we are going to start pumping out Angels, which is very good. Heliod is another good card for the deck because of all the ways we have of the ability to gain life. Putting +1/+1 counters on our things is very, very solid. I would say that's one of those things that maybe when you start adding these cards in here, maybe tweak the mana base just a little bit, maybe get rid of some Skykeep Clerics, but actually put in actual lands. Linden's another good card. It is very tough to play in our deck. I would say this is something that you don't want to play too many copies of because it is very awkward for being 3 devotion by itself. But the ability to gain life whenever we attack with a single creature, you know, every time we attack with a creature, we gain 1 life for each attacking creature, is a very solid card in general. Nighthawk Scavenger is another good, interesting card here. I think is one of those sleeper cards for an Orzhov style deck, just because a lot of people just associate it with rogues, but the idea that it has Fly and Death Touch and lifelink and its power is equal to 1+ the different card types in our opponent's graveyards makes it a very interesting card for the deck, as well as giving it lifelink and death touch makes our opponent not want to attack into it, and a 3 toughness makes it hard to kind of remove without actually having like a spot removal in a way. And of course Veto wouldn't not be like a card that you wouldn't want to add to the deck, just because it is a card that benefits us from gaining life because it makes our opponent lose life whenever we gain life. So any life gain triggers would allow us to do points of damage to our opponent's face, and then in the end game we can kind of tap 5 mana, swing with everything, and gain a bunch of life and make our opponent lose X amount of life. Even if we don't do damage to their face, they're gonna lose life because of all the life gain triggers. With that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think about the deck down in the comments below. If this is something that you're interested in, I know I did a clerics version of the deck, which is fairly similar, but we're playing less clerics and just playing more just solid life gain cards in the standard format. If you like the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out the channel out a lot. If you want to know I post more videos, hit that subscribe button. I will catch you in the next video.